The speaker said to us just moments ago, words matter. But apparently those words don't matter when they're uttered by Democrats. When the gentlelady from Massachusetts calls for unrest in the streets, when the gentlelady from California brazenly brags that she called for people to get in the faces of those who serve and support the president. I denounced political violence from all ends of the spectrum, but make no mistake, the left in America has incited far more political violence than the right. For months, our cities burned, police stations burned, our businesses were shattered, and they said nothing. Or they cheerled for it, and they fundraised for it, and they allowed it to happen in the greatest country in the world. Now, some have cited the metaphor that the president lit the flame. Well, they lit actual flames, actual fires, and we put them out.
Expired. There will be order in the House.
I yield back.
Damn, that boy Matt Gaetz can speak. Now, I disagree with him in a lot, but I like that. And credit where credit is due. The Capitol Hill riots, plus the fact that Trump is leaving office soon, has really broken the mainstream media. CNN is desperate to find a new enemy to display every night. Their desperation, CNN and mainstream media, has led them to be very flippity-floppity in the last few days. I've got several clips I want to show you, so without further ado, let's get into it. During the summer BLM and Antifa riots, the mainstream media justified them. They called them fiery but mostly peaceful. They said it was the language of the oppressed. As I mentioned in a previous video, NPR promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. But now, after the Capitol Hill riots, the mainstream media has quickly flipped on their position on riots. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn and enjoy.
To be clear in how I characterize this, this is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis.
They are strictly principled anti-fascists, and they've taken a principled stand to stand against white supremacists and white nationalists wherever they may show up.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I don't care that much about statues.
Shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
What you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Do not get it twisted and think that, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Most of the major movements in American history have started at the grassroots level and at some point have turned into direct conflict with American government. So remember your history before you judge your present.
Thuggishness is thuggishness wherever it comes from politically, and we should be the first to call it out.
I disagree.
The very trustworthy mainstream media, everybody. And when you hear all the unity talk, don't believe it for a second. Here's CNN's true sentiment towards unity.
Exactly. So we're not there yet. And I think what we have to remember is Trump is the spiritual, but I will also say operational leader of this domestic terrorism effort. He tells them where to go. He tells them what to do. He tells them why they're angry. And so we need to start at the top, like any counterterrorism effort, which is total isolation of the president of the United States. Impeachment, yes. 25th Amendment, yes. Deplatforming, yes. All of the above. No money, no access to campaign funds. A complete isolation, because as the leader of a terrorist organization is viewed as a loser, as a not winner, it is harder for him to recruit. Look, he's going to have his radical elements. We will arrest them. We will isolate them. But what we have to make sure is that Donald Trump does not have a second act. I know I sound incredibly harsh right now calling the president this, but we are in the tactical response right now. Enough with the let's unity and stuff. This is a tactical effort right now to make sure that we protect American citizens and, of course, the next president of the United States.
Enough with the unity, she says. This is a tactical operation to stop a terrorist organization and its leader. The leader, Donald Trump. The terrorist organization, his 75 million voters. Sick. CNN is sick. And if you want to get a further look into what the mainstream media elites think of deplorables, uneducated Republicans, Project Veritas went undercover and got footage of PBS principal counsel Michael Beller. Now keep in mind, PBS is subsidized by the government. Check this out. This is sickening.
Wins, go through all the Republican voters and Homeland Security will take the children and we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
In these times, which are unique, I mean, Trump is close to Hitler.
What are we going to do if we don't like it?
Go to the White House and throw Molotov cocktails. Kids who are growing up knowing nothing but Trump, for 4 years, you gotta wonder what they're going to be like. Are we raising a generation of intolerant, horrible people, horrible kids? Enlightenment camps.
Right.
They're nice. They have Sesame Street characters in the classroom, and they watch PBS all day.
I'm gonna go home and watch it.
Dumb. Most people are dumb. It's good to live in a place where people are, educated and know stuff. And can you imagine if you lived in one of these other towns or states where everybody's just stupid? What's great is COVID is spiking in all the red states right now, so that's great.
Why do you think so?
Because either those people won't come out to vote for Trump, go to the red states, or a lot of them are sick and dying. PBS has real news, but CNN doesn't have real news anymore. It's just a talking head talking about Trump all day long. I can't stand it. I mean, every once in a while I look at Fox News and it makes me want to throw up after 5 minutes. It's all this Joe Biden shit now, all the Joe Biden scandal, which is all made up. It's all ridiculous. And they are pushing them so hard. It's unbelievable.
So do you guys just ignore it?
Yeah.
A cynical person could say that this shows us that the mainstream media or the elites or whatever you want to call them are trying to paint all 75 million Trump voters as white supremacists, terrorists, Nazis, so then when they try to take your children to re-educate them, then regular people wouldn't really make a fuss. Because hey, who wants kids being raised by terrorist, white supremacist Nazis? Am I right? Then they would be doing a good thing by taking your children away. Scary. But the good thing is, he got cancelled. After Project Veritas exposed him, PBS fired him. So, I'm not for cancellations, but sorry, you reap what you sow. For the last 4 years, mainstream media and many Democrats, not all, but a lot, have been telling you and me and the world that Donald Trump is a fascist and he must be stopped. But recent events got me thinking that the real fascists are big tech, mainstream media, and the Democrats who are decrying Trump. The wonderful and exalted and honorable Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that Congress is considering a commission to rein in the media. Does it get more fascistic than that? I don't think so, but let's read the article. AOC says Congress may form a commission to rein in media after Capitol Hill riot. Alright. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez revealed that Congress is looking into creating an investigative commission to rein in the media in the wake of the U.S. Capitol siege. During a lengthy Instagram live on Tuesday evening, where she revealed that she feared for her life during the siege, the squad member accused the mainstream media of spewing disinformation ahead of the deadly riot in which 5 people died. Let's not forget that over 30 people died in the BLM and Antifa riots. There's absolutely a commission that's being discussed, but it seems to be more investigative in style rather than truth and reconciliation. How could you even talk about Truth and Reconciliation Commission? That's communist China. That's apartheid South Africa. It's not America. Crazy. I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy because that is part of what happened here. We're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so you just can't spew disinformation and misinformation. Who decides what's disinformation and misinformation? The Democratic Congress? Or maybe the Democratic Senate? Or maybe the Democratic White House? Sounds good? It's one thing to have different opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things are false. So that's something, well, we're looking into. So what about the Russian disinformation in the last 4 years? Was that false? Oh, no, that was good. Okay, got it. Who sets the standards, AOC? Last, I want to show you Trump's latest public comment. I know it's hard to find since, well, he's been banned off everywhere. YouTube is the latest company to silence him. The Democrats are trying to use the 25th Amendment to get Trump out of office. Trump's response? Impossible. Take a look.
Free speech is under assault like never before. The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for. The impeachment hoax is a continuation of the greatest and most vicious witch hunt in the history of our country and is causing tremendous anger and division and pain, far greater than most people will ever understand, which is very dangerous for the USA, especially at this very tender time. And now I'd like to briefly address the events of last week. Millions of our citizens watched on Wednesday as a mob stormed the Capitol and trashed the halls of government. As I have consistently said throughout my administration, we believe in respecting America's history and traditions, not tearing them down. We believe in the rule of law, not in violence or rioting.
The reason Trump is saying that the 25th Amendment can come back and bite Biden is because the 25th Amendment is supposed to be used for presidents who are incapacitated. You might not like Donald Trump. You might think he's a terrorist, a white supremacist Nazi, but he's not incapacitated. Biden, on the other hand, he may soon be. I think it's disgusting how the mainstream media is trying to bunch all people who didn't vote for Biden together as the people who rioted in Capitol Hill. 75 million Trump voters are not terrorists. They're not insurrectionists. They're not rioters. You got fringe people on the right the same way you got fringe people on the left. All of them should be arrested. But don't give me this bullshit now, because you weren't pro-law and order when it served your political interests. What do you guys think? Comment your opinions down below. As always, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. It's free. Share it. See you next time.